You know, the first time that I heard Turn It On Again, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but the first time I really heard or noticed Turn It On Again was 1999. And do you know why? Because I was in high school and all the cool kids were listening to Genesis. No, they weren't. But in 1999, I was in high school and I picked up a copy of Turn It On Again, the hits. It was the CD package, which I've talked about on this channel that I absolutely love. And I had always been a Phil Collins fan, but I never really got into Genesis. I don't know why. That's normal for, I think, for a lot of 80s and 90s kids who grew up on Phil Collins and Genesis or later Genesis, but hadn't really gotten into Genesis, pre Invisible Touch. Maybe I knew Mama, I think, but anything before Mama, wasn't too familiar with. And so to hear Turn It On Again, I was like, what is this? This is incredible. I mean, I think Phil's voice is the best in the Duke era. I think the Duke tour is the best Phil's voice has ever been. In Invisible Touch tour, it's really good as well. But by this point, he's been touring lots of albums. And so I think he's super young. He's touring a lot with Genesis, but not a ton yet, not doing any solo tours. I think the Turn It On Again era is the best vocally for Phil Collins. Duke is one of my favorite Genesis albums. Let me say that again. Duke is my favorite Genesis album. And Turn It On Again is such a great track. It's actually too deep in the album. I mean, is it the beginning of side B? That works as the beginning of side B. But nowadays, I think they would I think if it were in that Duke suite, if it came out of guide vocal, that could have been a really, really cool moment. But then again, I mean, I have no problem with the track listing, to be honest. So I didn't realize, because I'm filming this after I'd filmed a video about Mama, but this single did better than Mama. This on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US went to number 58, whereas Mama just went to 73. So I didn't realize that this was a bigger song. And it reached the top 40 in some markets, but not all of the markets. In the UK, it went to number 8 on the UK singles chart. There's a lot of stories. I mean, this is one of the most iconic Genesis songs, and there's a lot of stories around the formation of this song where the da-na-na-na-da-da, that guitar riff Mike Rutherford had, but really slow, and that Phil told him to speed it up, and then he played this drum beat to it, which is in a time signature, and let's get this time signature here. Is it 13/4 or is it 9/4? I can't remember. 13/4 or 9/4. It's a weird time. I mean, I don't know much about time signature. I'm not a drummer. Phil has said in the past, though, you can't dance to it. That you see people trying to dance and then all of a sudden, like, the beat catches up with them. They have to, like, restart over, like, which is kind of funny. But anyway, it's a really, really good song. I think it's about, is it about like, kind of being obsessed with a TV character? I thought that's what it was about, and wanting to, like an actor or a celebrity, and wanting that person to be in your life for real, and thinking you know them because you see them on TV every day. Is that what it's about? I think that's what it's about. So just some more stats about it here real quick. It was the first single, and it came out in March of 1980, and the album came out also in March of 1980. So this was released as a first single around the same time. The second single was Duchess, which is interesting to me, and Misunderstanding. Let's see how Misunderstanding charted, I'm just curious. Oh, it went to 14. Okay. In the previous video, I talked about Mama being one of their first singles, and I forgot about Misunderstanding. That's my bad. I think one of the most iconic moments now of Turn It On Again in a lot of people's memories is that transition from Behind the Lines, Duke's Suite, Duke's End that they did in the latest tour, but also on the 2007 tour where we first got to hear it. And I believe that tour was called the Turn It On Again tour, kind of stealing from that greatest hits package that had come out a few years earlier, which they repackaged for that tour. But that moment of like the bum, 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 and then all of that cool, Duke's Travels, Prague stuff, and then fading that out into that Mike Rutherford riff. And, another great Mike Rutherford riff, very similar to All I Need Is a Miracle. But man, what a special song. You got to love this song. Tell me where this song ranks for you. Is this like in your top 10? I think it might be in my top 10 Genesis songs. I don't know. My top 10 Genesis songs has about 20 or 30 songs in it.